Alright, I think we're up and running. So we're going to be doing some SFK pulls. Over talents really quickly. These aren't super important with these runs, but Arcane Resilience is nice for the bonus intellect. So make sure you try to go down and get that. The magic absorption also helps, but it's not going to be super effective. And then we're just going to go down the regular permafrost build, get improved cone of cold. Shatter is also nice here, but not necessarily required. There's no real gear requirements for this either. Just try to have some gear. And the nice thing about this run is that everybody can kind of stay at the entrance of the run. So we'll just start it here. Just run around in Arcane Explosion. Try to target that wolf up there and counterspell it as you run by. So as long as the group stays at the entrance of the run, it won't really make a difference. You may miss one or two mobs just because the aggro range is so small here. And then we'll jump down and open up both of these and talk to this guy here to unlock the courtyard. Let's keep our shield up. Ice barrier is nice. These guys are all immune to frost damage, so you have to use Arcane Explosion to kill them. And they also put this slow on you. You want to make sure that falls off before you start the next part of the pull. Also, we normally put the loot on FFA, so that way we can loot all this stuff, because again, the runners will stay at the entrance of the run. And if you have skinning, you can skin these, but I don't think skinning is really worth any gold. So the guy opened up the door, which is nice. We'll want to mana up here and make sure that buff was off, or the debuff was off. And we're basically going to go and pull this whole courtyard, run all the way around and back down through the back side of the butchers to try to pull up all these mobs here. This is probably the most dangerous pull, just because some of the mobs do go magic immune, which makes them pretty much impossible to kill as a mage. But aside from that, if you can get that down, then you'll be alright. You also have to be really careful. Don't use your Frost Nova at any point during this run, during this pull here, because the mobs do have a chance of resetting. So we'll just run around and start with, again, rank 1 Arcane Explosion. Grab that guy with a counterspell. As you can see there, that's the magic immune shield. And we run up this side here. I think you can do it either way, but I prefer to go around this way. We're using ice armor here as well. That does work on these. So these guys are vulnerable to ice damage, unlike the other ones that were immune. So just try to grab everything you can in these rooms. Keeping up your mana shield. You do get some resist from the ghosts. Grab that with a counterspell. Jump into the boss room here, and you can just kind of run down this table and grab everything in this room. You do have to be careful though, because once these ghosts do die, you will be really close to running out of mana, so make sure you have a mana gem available as well. We'll just kind of wait for everything to get here. You don't want to ice block, because I found that also has a chance of messing up the mobs. But just try to kill what you can. As you can see, there's a lot of the immune mobs, so we'll just kind of run in a circle here, trying to get away from them, and every once in a while turning and doing an AoE. And then once you get down to the last few, you can try to auto them. Or wand them once they drop their shield. This is, like I said, the worst part of the run. It does get a lot easier after this. Also, these runs are kind of partial runs. I don't normally do the last two bosses unless somebody needs them, just because it's not really efficient for time. So we'll loot all this stuff up. Obviously, when you come here, you're looking to try to get the Assassin's Blade, Shadow Fang, any of the twink items. Those are where all the big gold is. And I think the XP per hour here is also pretty good. I don't have the exact numbers. It's been a little while since I ran here with the group, so we'll have to see after this run. But gold per hour is pretty good. There is also a vendor place around here as well that's really close for the horde. That's not the flight point. Okay, we'll mana up. Most of the stuff you just straight vendor here. We are going to save the cloth though. You do get quite a bit of wool cloth here, which is useful for people that are trying to level up tailoring. And once we get our full mana, we'll start. Also, the reason why you don't want to have people follow you is that there is a chance for a patrol to spawn here. Well, the patrol always spawns, but there's a chance for them to get targeted by that patrol, and that'll kill them. So as long as they stay at the entrance, so they will get XP the full run, just based off of where we kill the ads. We'll evocate as well, just to get our mana back up to full pretty quick. Obviously, a larger mana pool is nice here, considering the fact that you're mostly spamming Arcane Explosion. But there's, again, no real gear requirements. You can do this at any point. You just kind of have to play it a little bit differently and try to be more conservative with your mana when the other bosses, or during that other pull. So this here, we'll grab all these ghosts. The ghosts do have a chance to silence you, but it's not such a big deal, especially early on, just because you're not going to be taking a lot of damage from them. So the biggest thing is that you end up not being able to cast Arcane Explosion if you get silenced. And we'll just pull them into this room here. Again, if you try to get too big of pulls with this, it does have a chance of resetting the mobs. I do believe you can actually pull these all the way into the other room here, but I prefer not to. I prefer to do the other pull as a large pull as well to make it worth it. So we'll no-ball those guys down and just try to blow them up. You want to stay a little bit at distance because you do have a chance of still getting silenced, but your resist is pretty good. This guy here will bubble at around 30% he bubbles, so you just kind of have to be something to deal with. He heals himself. So we can kill him. Alright. Just loot everything up here. You may, you definitely want to have full bags or empty bags when you come here. If there's any specific items that anybody wants, you can always turn it on Master Looter really quick before you do like boss pulls. You miss out on a little bit of cloth, but if you're coming here for like twinking or whatever, you can do it that way. And then also a lot of these armor pieces and weapons don't actually vendor very much. So like you find these bracers that are 97 copper and you start running out of room, don't hesitate to delete those, because there are better gray items here, and you get enough of them to kind of be able to replace whatever you delete. Also, the bat wings and the meat doesn't sell very good, so not worth keeping. Okay, and so we'll pull this all the way up into the, and this is the last pull of the run here. We'll pull this all the way up into the big dog room. And then we'll show you where the vendor spot is too. At one point in this pull, you will get kind of uppercut like you do in Maradon, but it's not a huge deal. Also, always check and remember to look for the chests when you are running through here. There's a chance at the BOEs also being in those, so those are kind of important. You just want to make sure you have your shield up here, and you're just going to run all the way into the boss room. If you can, try to save your blink, but as you can see, I'm getting uppercut through the floor there. And we'll just wait for all the mobs to kind of pack up. Using our rank 1 blizzard there to let them group. And then we'll pull the boss with them. Again, pretty simple. Frost Nova everything down and Arcane Explosion. It's not a super difficult run like the Maradon run or the SM run where you have a lot more chance of dying, but that's pretty much the run. You do also have to remember that there will be some void spawns here that if you do run low on health and mana, you might want to make sure you drop down instantly and try to get a little bit of health and mana. But after this point, I don't really run up the stairs because there's only about 6 more mobs, and it takes a while to actually kill everything up there, so I don't really find that worth it in terms of XP per run. Just try to loot everything here. I'm going to ask and see if they know how much XP they got. Inventory's full. So we'll just head on out of here. So it seems like they got almost 13,000, but that is also including rest experience. So you're getting about 6,000 to 7,000 probably per pull, which is pretty decent. Alrighty. 32k an hour. Obviously it'll adjust as time goes on, but that's pretty decent. Probably 32k. They're saying about 32k per hour. Pretty decent. So we'll run out here, and then we just do have we're going to show where the next location is for the vendor, which is over in this area here. It's a lot closer than running up here. And I believe the Alliance have one in the Pyrewood Village if it's like daytime. I believe there's a vendor in there for them. Also, doing this run back and forth is completely okay during these runs because you're less likely to cap. The runs do go pretty quickly, so you will cap from time and again. I think I just dismounted myself with my add-on. RIP. Okay. And again, the coin split is multiple ways. It looks like every time I get in combat, I dismount. But so that would have been about 1.5 gold worth of gold looted, just off of the corpses themselves. And then once we vendor everything, you do also have to be careful. There is I believe it's forest. It's some kind of bracer off of these guys that have a chance to be worth quite a bit for a twink item. So after we vendor everything, you can save the potions if you'd like. The linen cloth is alright. And obviously the wool cloth, that might be worth something on your server. After we vendor everything, we made 3 gold that run. Multiply that by 5, that's about 15 gold an hour without getting a BOE, and that also doesn't include the coin